How about you, Jonathan Dunn? How have you spent the first chunk of this last month?
Well, not. I mean, I don't want to get too downbeat, but I do want to talk about depression and certainly its effects on gaming, because that has been me for the last few weeks. But basically, since I finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I didn't realise sort of quite how much emotional heavy lifting it was doing for me through December and January.
Yeah.
But that deep escapism was just perfect, just for giving me a bit of momentum and inspiration to get out of bed and distract myself. I did play the DLC after wrapping my time with the main game, which gave me another 20 or so hours of play, and was wonderful. I really loved the new main characters, especially the lead character, Matthew, who has an accent that made him sound like a Hale End graduate. So that was nice.
Good.
And then, the game does a brilliant job of weaving the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2 together with the world of Xenoblade 3. So that was all just great. But yeah, coupled with, just a slow start to the year, general, just seasonal adverse shit. And then I absolutely had post-game blues, and I could not find a game to move on to next to try and fill that void left by Xenoblade. And that, coupled with my low mood, just got me stuck in a real choice paralysis situation. And people think, oh, you just need a game to cheer you up, or a nice cozy game to lift your spirits. But obviously, depression is just it's the absence of emotion. It's the absence of motivation, the absence of, pretty much everything. January is always a bleak month, and like a lot of people, do struggle with my mood during the darker months of the year. The lack of sunshine does have a massive effect, but also just the whole concept of New Year just really fucks me off, because biologically speaking, when we get into winter, our bodies want to slow down, rest, sleep, take the pressure off. But socially speaking, we instead agree collectively to change time by moving the clocks back or forward an hour so that we can do more work. And then we put a huge amount of pressure on everyone to have New Year's resolutions to try and take on more stuff, try new things, rethinking your whole perspective on life and work. And that just sucks. Just a big load of butt balls. It's so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So maybe trying to start a new game was always going to be hard this time of year, especially after having just completed an amazing 120-hour epic, and also knowing that Monster Hunter Wilds is out in a matter of days, and I know that's hopefully going to be my next big gaming activity. But I still wanted something to play in the meantime, and I tried playing a few games that are all really good and really fun, but just couldn't grip my, not so much my attention, but just couldn't grip my enthusiasm when I was, just depressed. I played a bit of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD on the Switch, brilliant, but I was depressed, so I didn't play much of it. Tried starting No Man's Sky on Steam Deck, which is a beautiful, enormous, immersive game, tons of great systems, loads of things to intrigue and encourage exploration and creativity, but I was depressed, so I didn't play much of it. I made a start on playing a game called Nobody Saves the World, which is an indie game it's been on my list for a while. It's a Zelda-like with a sort of Wonder Boy-style transformation system in it. Really good. Looks great, plays beautifully, lots of variety and puzzles, great writing, but I was depressed, so I didn't play much of it.
Yeah.
I did decide to have a go at Disney Speedstorm on your
Did that help?
middling recommendation last month. As you said, though, it is a great kart racer, and if everything was unlocked in the game and I could play it as a full game for a single price of entry, then I'd have had a really great time. But the aggressive monetization, which you very accurately describe as predatory, was so unpleasant that I didn't even care that I was depressed. I just wasn't going to invest my time in it.
Just move straight to anger. Next stage, move on.
That was it, just pure dismissal. Then I thought, actually, maybe then this was acceptance. I just needed to lean into just the mindlessness of depression and play a game that is just vapid and requires nothing to invest in. You can just tick off boxes. So I booted up Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is that Ubisoft open world game
yeah.
that just feels like an AI generated attempt at Breath of the Wild. Like, the writing is abysmal, the world design is trudge, the combat is fine, the quests and exploration are all fine, but even that didn't do the job. So instead, I've just put 200 hours into a little endless run and mobile game called Rodeo Stampede.
Is it good?
I'll tell you now. It's actually Rodeo Stampede Plus, which is the Apple Arcade version of the game with the microtransactions removed. Rodeo Stampede is absolutely not reinventing the wheel. The central gameplay revolves around trying to run as far as you can in various stampedes of wild animals, and then you can jump between animals using your lasso whilst you dodge to avoid obstacles and other animals and traps and things like that. You can then tame the animals to feature in your zoo that then generates money every time you open it. Then there are different locations and environments to explore with its own set of animals, including an underwater location for fishy fishes and marine life. Then there's a special space warp hole series of locations that just travels you through time to the land of the dinosaurs, or to Mount Olympus to catch mythical creatures, or shrink you down to run through a back garden and collect bugs. And then there's all kinds of variants of the different animals to catch and ride as well, which is the bit of the game I kind of like and have found addictive, because there's sort of like a monster catching aspect to it, because a variety of different rarities are represented throughout the variants as well. And then special variants will only unlock if you fulfill certain conditions first that are sort of hinted at through little cryptic loading screen pieces of text. And then in a lot of these variants, I mean, there are some sort of normal variants of an animal, like the gorilla will have like a silverback gorilla or whatever. But then there's some really silly animals to find as well, which always have just a lovely punny name. And like you'll spot these animals like running in the stampede, and I'll be like, well, that's something dressed. That's an animal dressed up as something. So see if I can work out what the pun is before I catch it.
Yeah.
So things like, oh, here's a toucan flying with 3 heads. Oh, that's probably a 3-can, I imagine.
Yeah.
Or an ostrich dressed up in a suit and tie with a briefcase is clearly a bostrich.
I'm so bad at this sort of punny humour, but
this bodes well
good.
because I've got some lined up for you to try and guess.
Oh, brilliant! Okay, right. Head in gear.
Okay, gorilla with a magic hammer.
Gorilla with a magic hammer. Honestly,
who has a magic hammer?
A magic hammer. A carpenter.
Jesus Christ, this is going to be long, isn't it? Okay, that's Thorilla.
Ah, okay. Thorilla,
Okay.
that makes more sense.
All right.
It?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Then a carpenter. Jesus. Crocodile with a magnifying glass.
Crocodile. So, like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, Jesus.
Detective. A detective crocodile.
Investigator.
Go on. Hit me with the third one.
There's 4.
Oh, Jesus.
Sheep.
Okay.
Made of cheese.
Cheese. Sheep. Cheese. Like the vegan stuff.
Lamb and bear.
I would never have got that, but I think cheese is acceptable. Was that answer?
It's yeah. What about a llama dressed as a former president of the United States?
Llama.
Barack Obama. Yes,
Okay.
well done.
Oh, 1 out of 4.
Yeah,
1 out
it's
of
not
4.
bad. It's not bad. There's some incredibly niche ones as well. Like there's a wombat with a checkered white and colourful pattern separated by black lines. That is a Womdrian.
Jesus.
Yeah. And a tiger dressed up as a xenomorph.
Alien. Go on, give it to me.
Jar tiger.
That's pretty good.
Isn't it?
Like a lot of these are good as jokes and puns, but clearly Friday night my head is not able to pass this, at least in audio form. Maybe with a visual clue as well, it would help. But
maybe.
Or just thick.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe just old.
Old and thick and slow.
That's the one. That's
the one.
I mean, all of the different animals sort of have different control quirks and and things like that. There's boss levels you can unlock with special variants and daily endangered animals to catch, and then you could also catch a match for an animal you've already caught, which you can then breed together to get a baby animal, which you can then have ride as your companion. to give various stat boosts and abilities. Then you can upgrade your animals at your zoo and decorate it. And obviously you can unlock about 500 hats for your riders to wear. That's very, very Moorish. My daughter was struggling to sleep, and I was just like playing on Radio Stampede whilst I was sat waiting for her to go to sleep. She couldn't sleep. She came over and went, "Daddy, can you show me all the hats?" So I went through, I unlocked about 100 of the 500 or whatever. But yeah, there's always something to do. It's very addictive. There's no microtransaction. There's sort of an energy timer system in it for some of the special levels, but you can just pay to refill it with your in-game coins, which you've always got tons of, so that sort of negates it. I did, just for the sake of interest, I did have a quick go at the free-to-play version of Radio Stampede, and like all free-to-play games, it's got horrifically aggressive monetization, microtransactions in it. It sort of frames full game unlock purchase to allow you to play unlimited missions without waiting on an energy timer. But then there's a million other things in there that, you can only just pay to unlock. It's just unpleasant, certainly for people like me that find that bombardment pretty stress and anxiety inducing. So I definitely can't really endorse the normal version of Radio Stampede unless you are the sort of gamer who is immune to those types of things. But the Apple Arcade version is a great little endless runner time sink. It's not entirely devoid of bugs, which are a bit annoying and hopefully will get ironed out fairly soon. They're not entirely game ruining, but yeah, there's loads of scope for adding more content too in the future. It's done a job, which is allow my brain time off just to rest rather than dwell, to slowly sort of get back to something like normality, whilst also waiting for the days just to get a little bit longer, a little bit brighter. So yeah, Radio Stampede Plus, it's done a job.
Well,
it's better than depression.
I'm sorry it's been a rough chunk. To help you out, potentially, Xenoblade Chronicles X releases in about 2 or 3 weeks.
I know. And so now I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to juggle that with Monster Hunter Wilds.
Well, I suppose it just means if Monster Hunter Wilds, for whatever reason, is not doing the trick, there is an alternative to try.
That is true.
Or vice versa. If you were to pick up one before the other, you potentially got another big thing to have a go at. So, yeah, I know you'll get to it at some point now that you are the big Xenoblade convert, but equally, you might need a few months off after mainlining 3 as obsessively as you did.